Check.
I looked at the rising sun and asked, "What have you to teach me today?" I heard a voice which said, "Always generate more light than heat." A very good morning to everyone present here.
I take immense pleasure in welcoming all of you to the two-day National Conference on Rethinking Language Teaching in India.
And I, Madhvi, take this privilege to welcome all our delegates on the first day of the National Conference on Winning with VUCA Innovations and Strategies. Divine chants and thoughts ward off evil and hurdles to make way for light and happiness to dwell. I invite the prayer group for the same.
Go.
Thank you, students. Light symbolizes victory over darkness and defeats ignorance. It marks the beginning of auspicious moments and events. May I now request the dignitaries to do the honors. I request the audience to rise for the same.
Thank you, dignitaries. To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. I invite Dr. Rajdeep K. Manwani, Professor in Commerce and Management, School of Commerce and Management Studies, to deliver the welcome address for the day.
I was reading an article recently. There was a company which wanted to enhance the productivity of its employees. So it decided to change the lighting of the entire factory. It changed the traditional white lighting into red, blue and green lighting. To the utter surprise of the management, after a month, while the productivity of the male employees increased, the productivity of the female employees decreased. When they conducted a survey and tried to find out what had happened, it was noticed that the male employees found it a welcome change to have different lighting. But the women employees said that it was absolutely disastrous, because when they looked at themselves in the mirror, they felt they were looking very ugly and like witches. That is the complexity with which we are going through in today's world. John Naisbitt, the author of Megatrends, says that attrition levels are at an all-time high. A skilled employee does not stay in an organization for more than 8 months. A consumer changes his preference every 49 days. The level of defaults in a bank have risen to 1 every minute. With such a dramatic change in the world outside, it is only befitting to have a conference which is dedicated to understand the entire strategy which a company should follow in this VUCA environment. But looking at the positive side of the whole thing, it is during these times of uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity that the most creative strategies come out, which was exhibited by a company in Milwaukee called Rut, which was a cockroach spray company. It found that its sales were dipping drastically, and in order to increase the sales, they came out with a very innovative promotional plan. They took 5 healthy cockroaches, barcoded them, and they let them in the gutters of Milwaukee, and they gave an advertisement in the newspaper saying that whoever catches the cockroaches dead or alive but not crushed will get a prize of $50,000. Milwaukee was on a gold rush. Women used to send their men out early to find cockroaches. People used to carry cockroach sprays in public transports. And after 25 days, the sales of the cockroach spray had increased by 46,000%. They had to close the scheme. Only 2 bar-coded cockroaches were caught, and they spent $100,000. And that's what VUCA can do. It can bring out the most creative and innovative side of you. In fact, the world's best companies have been found in the midst of the Greatest Depression. HP, Disney, Revlon, more recently Google in 1998 when the world was going through a slump. And why go far? In India, 2007-2008, we have Flipkart and Snapdeal, which were found when we were going through the midst of the subprime crisis. So looking at the positive aspects and devising the best strategies for VUCA is what we are going to talk about in this conference. Not to leave behind the language, who have also come out with rethinking language education. I just remember a small incident which happened in my life. When I had gone to St. Aloysius College, Mangalore, to meet my ex-principal where I'd studied in St. Joseph's College of Commerce, and while chatting to my ex-principal, Father Walter Andrade, he asked me, Rajdeep, what are you teaching in Jain College? I said, sir, I'm teaching management, income tax, organizational behavior. And very surprisingly, he looked at me and he said, Rajdeep, stop teaching management, organizational behavior and income tax and start teaching students. That really made me think about what I had to do in life. Today, I welcome all of you all to this wonderful and brilliant session which has been organized for the academicians, corporates and all of us on the VUCA and on rethinking language education. I would extend my hearty welcome in absentia to the beacon of light and the guiding force of Jain University, the President of Jain University, Dr. R. Chainraj Jain, the transformational leader, the Vice Chancellor of Jain University, Dr. Sundarajan, the Dean of Commerce and Management Studies, Dr. Ishwaran Iyer. Amongst us, we also have a very efficient and capable administrator, an ideal blend between the corporate and the academic circles, a very, very wise and a very, very intelligent person who guides us always, the Registrar of Jain University, Dr. Krishnan. I would like our center head, Dr. Vasu BA, to welcome him with a floral bouquet. We also have amongst us a friend, philosopher and guide, a very, very concerned person who's always looking forward to the development of the commerce education in our university. In fact, he was the first head of department of the Commerce Department in Jain University. Please welcome the Controller of Examination, Mr. V.T. Venkatesh. We also have amongst us our 2 keynote speakers for the day. Dr. Anand Sudarshan, who is the founder and director of Sylvant Educational Advisors, a very noted personality, a director of NIIT, a keynote speaker at various international forums, and he is a passionate educationist. Please welcome Dr. Anand Sudarshan with a big round of applause. We also have amongst us a very scholarly person. In fact, he has initiated the human science movement at Srishti School in Bangalore. He is a renowned scholar. He reinvigorates Indian tradition into our learning. Please welcome Dr. Vivek Dharishwar. Besides that, we have a very famous education entrepreneur and edupreneur, a person who is the founder of the iNurture Learning Solutions. Please welcome Dr. Ashwin Ajila. We also have amongst us some very, very noted scholars. The Chief Learning Officer of iNurture Solutions, Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan. The Head of Finance of iNurture, Mr. Vinod, and the head of marketing and leadership, Mr. Matthew. Besides that, I would like to welcome the center head, who's been a guiding force for us, a very, very eminent, capable, and very, very concerned leader, as I would call him, the center head of School of Commerce and Management Studies, Dr. B.A. Vasu. I would like to welcome all the heads of departments from various colleges across Bangalore, the heads of departments of Jain University, all the faculty of Jain University and other colleges who are going to present their papers, and also all the students and other faculty who have come here and graced this occasion. This is going to be a momentous seminar for you. As George Bernard Shaw so rightly said, the progress in this world is always based on the unreasonable man. Because a reasonable man looks at the world and says why, but an unreasonable man looks at the world the way it should be and says why not. Let's answer these questions in these 2 days and have a memorable seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for those warm words. May I now request Dr. S. Trayambaga, Head, Department of English, to give an overview of the language conference on rethinking language teaching in India.
Before I begin, I would like to present a few quotes. Ludwig Wittgenstein, a 20th century Austrian philosopher, has said, "The limits of my language are the limits of my world." The late Nelson Mandela said, "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. One language sets you in a corridor for life. 2 languages open every door along the way." Respected dignitaries on the dais, dear participants and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I deem it my privilege to present an overview of the 2-day national conference beginning today. One of the most vehemently debated issues in today's context is the role of English vis-a-vis other languages of the world. On the one hand, the love for English and the demand for English language teaching institutes is bewilderingly huge. The overwhelming support accorded by the public, the society, and the governments is equally stupefying. On the other hand, there is much global consternation for the vanishing indigenous languages and along with them their cultures. The irony is that although English occupies a dominant status and has already sounded the death knell of other languages and cultures much older than itself, the teaching fraternity is oblivious to these developments. While the volume of research into the nuances of teaching English being undertaken by native speakers is quite large, there is hardly any introspection of research undertaken by second language speakers like us. Furthermore, we insist that English should remain the lingua franca for internal communication. Many voices also proclaim the neutral character of English and the benefits of integrating into our daily lives. Exponents of this view quote the salad bowl model, where all languages coexist with English. What is most disturbing, however, is the fact that intellectuals, research scholars, and policymakers continue to proclaim that English is widening the chasm between the educated and the uneducated, the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the poor, the dominant and the oppressed, the elites and the proletariat. In their effort to close the gap, many governments have introduced English language instruction even at the primary school level. The public seems to be accepting English as the medium of instruction, as a panacea for all problems, be it unemployment, upward social mobility, bad gender ratio, procuring positions of power, or the dominance of caste and class politics. Institutes of higher education are working hard to minimize the language components of their UG programs in their bid to cram in as many subjects and specializations as possible. By doing so, they hope to improve the students' opportunities for employment, unaware of the pitfalls of teaching content subjects without language to support thought. In view of the foregoing, this conference intends to provide a platform for the language fraternity to debate issues like the right way and the shortest way to promote proficiency in English, the strategies and policy changes needed to safeguard our Indian languages and cultures, and to promote value-based education. In the last 3 decades, the massive amount of research in English has impacted other languages and their literatures too. One important offshoot of such research is the arrival of critical pedagogy, alternate methods of teaching, and post-method strategies, besides the use of ICTs and media in language teaching. In our country, we have yet to accept them for use in the classroom on a regular basis. It is hoped that the participants and the paper presenters will analyze the problems and debate the issues plaguing language teaching. I hope that we'll be able to realize the objectives of the conference and make it a great success. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, sir. Success is not measured by what you accomplish, but by the opposition you have encountered and the courage with which you have maintained the struggle against overwhelming odds. On that note, I now ask the technical team to play the curtain raiser on VUCA.
Hold on, I got a woman and a kid 200 yards out, moving towards the convoy. Her arms aren't swinging, she's carrying something. Yeah, she's got a grenade, she's got an RKG Russian grenade. She's saying to the kid.
You say a woman and kid?
You got eyes on this? Can you confirm?
Negative. Your call.